So here's a completed painted black tray using the same tray, the same type of paint. The one thing to remember when you're preserving greens and resin is that you need to make sure they're completely dry in advance. So you can do this using a dehydrator, or it takes a little bit more time, but you can use the old-fashioned method of placing your greens flat with paper towels in a book. Mine are already dry here, and you can see they've kept their shape really nicely and their color. It's time to mix up some resin. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix it up 2 parts 50-50. So I'm using a popsicle stick here to mix it up very thoroughly. And then I'm gonna pull it over here, set it aside. You can see we've got our painted tray that we had in the last step almost right away because resin does start setting pretty quickly. I'm gonna clean that off. And I'm gonna pour a layer in and then just kind of watch how it kind of goes into the corners here. You don't really have to do anything to get it to do that. It just kind of does it on its own. It's still not even close to being set up. We're gonna take some of our dry greens, gently set them down in. And since it isn't set up right now, you still have a bit of flexibility. If you set your greens down and you don't love the way they look, you can move them at this point. So all I'm doing here is just taking my popsicle stick and pushing the leaves down to get them as covered in resin as I can. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on my heat gun and I'm just going to gently blow out all of these bubbles. Popped all my bubbles. And then I've already got one that's set for you guys to take a look at. So I finished this one in advance. This one is totally cured. You can see it's blemish free and beautiful, but we do have a couple parts of the greens that have popped up to the surface. I want to show you how awesome it looks when you get a totally blemish free, crystal clear finish. So since this is already cured, again, I let it cure according to the instructions in the resin. I'm going to grab the resin that I mixed up in the last step and just give it a quick mix again. Pour it gently, slowly. You can see now we're just really covering everything. So again, it's going into those corners. You can already see some of those bubbles pop up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my heat gun again, and then I'm just gonna gently spray those bubbles. And you can see they're popping here. It's already looking really, really nice. So I'm gonna show you guys what the finished one looks like. Here is my finished cured resin tray. You could really use this for anything. All right guys, so I'm showing you a close-up here of the resin completely cured in this dish. This was after 2 coats here, and you can see it's crystal clear, blemish free, super high gloss, and everything is encapsulated here in the resin. So I'm gonna sit it right here, and then it will make the perfect little area for some things that you want to keep out of reach. I have a 2-year-old, so there are a lot of things you want to keep out of a 2-year-old's reach, right? And also, honestly, this is so pretty that you could also do something to display it too. So put it somewhere where the light would really reflect off